Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this regular board meeting to order, July 6, 2021 at 7 p.m. Kelly, please call roll.
Trustee Garcia.
Here.
Trustee Malone.
Here.
Trustee O'Sullivan.
Here.
Trustee Sandoval.
Here.
Trustee Frost is absent. Trustee Vela absent. And President Skillman.
Here. Thank you. Please stand for pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have no awards tonight, proclamations, no appointments, correct?
None. Correct.
We have public comment.
We do have one. We have Dr. Maggie Rivera here. You want to step up?
And her beautiful husband.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to be here before you and just to say a few words. It is quite an honor to be able to stand here before such distinguished trustees and president of this board and chief of police, fire department chief. It has honestly been a ride where we have all embarked on. So about 18 months ago, we, as the world, woke up to a rude awakening, something where on our wildest imagination, we would have thought that we would live through. We read through in history books about things like this happening, but never did we imagine, I don't think anyone imagined, that we would live through this, let alone live to talk about it. It has certainly been something that has brought our communities together. It has been something that has taught us, all of us, a lot of lessons, a lot of things that we never considered because we, as a society, took everything for granted. So this rude awakening came to this side of our world in January of 2020. And we just started seeing our loved ones, our community members, and even those people that we didn't even know have never crossed our paths being taken away from life as we know. And just families weeping over their loved ones that could not understand what was happening. And I think until today, we still cannot understand what really happened. We don't know, is this something that we could have prepared for? Possibly, but we just didn't think it would happen. But it is now giving us the opportunity to look at life different, to look at what we have in front of us as something, as a gift, which is life, and not take it for granted. So as we were trying to scramble around and try to see what was happening, what to do, the Illinois Migrant Council, which I'm the president and CEO of, is a statewide organization. We have been around for 55 years, and we provide services from A through Z to migrant and seasonal farm workers, and because of the pandemic, now immigrants and refugees. When we were running around trying to figure out at every government level how to confront this, how to deal with this, the governor called upon us and gave us a challenge to find a way on how we can come together once vaccinations were available to be able to save lives and come up with innovative ideas on how to get people vaccinated. Jose and I, my husband, went and took a group of elderly to get their vaccinations. As you recall, the first group to get vaccinations when they were available were the elderly. So we gathered a group of elderly and took them to Cicero to get vaccinated, where they were given the opportunity, even though they were not members of those communities, but to get the vaccination because they were so vulnerable. So we went up there and we ran into one of the governor's representative, and they said, Maggie, how can we bring these vaccinations to the community? And I was like, oh, that's really easy. Let's go into the communities. And they're like, how would you do that? And I says, well, we can do it at a grocery store. And they were like, what, at a grocery store? And I turned around and looked at Jose, and I says, right, we can do it at your grocery store. Just kind of like put him on the spot. And he's like, yeah, sure. So within 8 days after that initial contact, we immediately started to put a plan together, to call on partners and to kind of get things going. We didn't know what we were doing, honestly. So Jose said, I know, the first person I'm going to call is John Skillman. He is probably going to be willing to help us. And Jose took that phone and called him, and without hesitation, he said, yes, I will help. What do we have to do? So we put it together. We brought 5 different organizations, including the Illinois Department of Public Health. We brought Fifth Street Renaissance, Community Health Partnership, and other organizations that were willing to hop on board, not knowing what we were doing. I remember the day that the governor's team came out to scope the area. They looked at it and they said, you want to do it here? And we're like, yes, we can do it outside. We can pop up tents. And they're like, it's February. We're in the middle of winter. And we're like, let's just do it. So they agreed, and they provided us with the means to be able to conduct this. We worked day and night recruiting people, calling people, getting people signed up. I tell you, my phone became synonymous to 911. Everybody at every time of the day and night were calling, but guess what? We were answering every single call, every email that was coming through, regardless at what time it was, because it was so important to all of us. So the day came. It was minus 6 degrees that day. It was horribly cold, but for some reason, we were not. We were so energized. We were so excited to be able to have that opportunity that, I don't know, I didn't even feel the cold. And I know a lot of people that work there, including each and every one of you that I see here in front of me today. Everybody just rolled up their sleeves. They just came and says, what do we have to do? So we went ahead, regardless of the cold, regardless of the freezing weather, the snow falling on our equipment. We went ahead and we vaccinated 360 people. That day was so emotional to all of us because people were crying, especially the elderly, as they were getting these vaccines in their arms. And I can remember John coming up to me and saying, Maggie, it's really cold out there. It's starting to snow. What do we do? And he's like, should we bring them in? I'm like, let's bring them in. So we informed Jose, guess what? Your store is going to be invaded. So we brought everybody in, and it was just, to this day, the first clinic in the state of Illinois that was a pop-up clinic. So I have to congratulate the village of Carpentersville for initiating this, for being the pioneers in the pop-up clinics. And I can assure you that this is something that is recognized not only statewide, but national. Everybody knows about what Carpentersville did. And soon after that, on Monday, that following Monday, the governor had a meeting with all of the directors from the health departments, and he said to them, I want you to do what the village of Carpentersville did. I want you to go into every community and vaccinate people. And that's how pop-up clinics became to be. But we didn't stop there. We kept going. We had 6, 7 different clinics here in Carpentersville. And just in Carpentersville, we vaccinated over 3,800. And I know that Chief Schilling can remember that one clinic we did where we had 1,400 people. And we did 2 different types of vaccinations. Again, it was a first. When the clinical team came in there, the doctors, they said, we haven't done this. It's 2 different vaccines and it's 2 different doses. God help us all. And we did it without any kind of incident. Everything went smoothly. Everything was done how it was supposed to be done. But the whole reason why that happened is because we all worked together. Because every single team from City of Carpentersville came together and provided us with that support. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, we had a few clinics where we had a little bumps and they saw the best of me come out. But we did it. And I cannot tell you how grateful I am personally. But on behalf of the Illinois Migrant Council, we are forever indebted to you because we couldn't have done it without you. Had you not given us the opportunity to initiate this, we probably would have had a real hard time getting a city or a village to allow us to come in and implement this crazy idea. Because I think about it now and I'm like, oh, that was really crazy. But we did it. And we continue to do it. The most recent one we had was, I believe, was June 7th. It could have gone a lot better. We could have had a lot more people vaccinated, but there was like some conflicts in there. Nevertheless, that didn't stop us. We continue to do what we feel as a city, as those of you that are elected, it's our right and our duty to do for the people that you all represent. And believe me, if that is not true representation of what you were elected to do, I don't see what is. Because of you and because of everyone that pulled together here, many lives were saved. And they are alive because of you today. So I applaud you for that, and I want to say that we're not done. The state of Illinois is only 71% fully vaccinated. We still have a long way to go, specifically with the youth, with the young adults, and with other adults that are now realizing the importance of getting vaccinated. Kids are going to go back to school this fall, into the classroom. So we have a job ahead of us this summer to make sure that those kids and those teachers and those administrators are vaccinated so that we don't have any losses. We want 0 losses. And we can only do this together. We can only do this if we continue to maintain that team that we built, because we really did build a team. And I know that we're all over the state, but we have not done what the village of Carpentersville did and continues to do. So for that, I have the distinct pleasure today, and I know it's a little token, but we wanted to acknowledge each department that was so instrumental in making this happen. So I want to first present a certificate of appreciation to the Village of Carpentersville, President John Skillman, and trustees. And I want to call each name because everybody deserves to be recognized. Humberto Garcia, Jim Malone, John Sullivan, Eric Johnson, Brad Stewart, Brenda Sandoval, and Jeff Frost. Each and every one of you that I mentioned here today rolled up your sleeves and stopped at any given clinic to give us that helping hand that we needed. So because of that, in recognition of the valuable service to humanity through the collaboration with the Illinois Migrant Council of COVID-19 pop-up vaccination clinics in the state of Illinois. We applaud you for saving hundreds of lives of residents vaccinated through these initiatives. Thank you. I just happened to glance a very good friend of us that has been through this with us as well. State Rep, come on up here and help us do this because she was so instrumental in helping us do this as well. She showed up at every single clinic that we had. And I just so happy. So would you do me the honors and presenting this to John? Words. Great work.
This time you gotta smile, no mask.
Go away. And we also want to present the same certificate to the fire department, Chief John Chimnilin, and the fire department staff. They were phenomenal.
Dickie will take it.
Right in the middle.
One for each eye.
And last but not least, to the Village of Carpentersville Chief of Police Patrick Hoy and the police officers who kept us in line. And again, I just want to highlight how Suzanne stepped up to the plate, just like the village president and each and every one of you. And she just did and worked with us from beginning to end. And it was just so wonderful to see our newly elected state rep represent us the way that she does. I am just so proud of her. So with that, I once again just want to say that I am so forever grateful and appreciative, and I look forward into our continuous work together until we end this pandemic.
Thank you both very much. Thank you.
I just want to mention that I'm working with the this company that might come to town. So I will let you guys, John, know. So I want them to invest minimum $2 million in one of our projects. So.
So you guys going to hang around for a few minutes, and then after the meeting, we can take a group picture with the trustees? Okay? Okay, next, I'm sorry.
You're good. That's it for public comment.
Yeah, Suzanne Ness, State Rep. Jump over.
Oh my gosh, no.
Jeez,
First of all, this is the coolest room. I love this.
thank you.
Thank
Eric
you.
made it all happen.
So, good evening, everybody. I'm Suzanne Ness, the state representative for District 66. I don't think I've met almost all of you. So, but I wanted to come tonight, and I'm sorry that I did not get on the list there to get my name on. But one of the wonderful things about being in this position is being there when they say, "Member, we have some money that we'd like to appropriate to your district," and I know that that Carpentersville is doing. You're doing so much here in terms of economic development and the work that I've seen, infrastructure going on. So I am happy to present you with $500,000 of funds to go towards projects that you're currently working on, infrastructure projects and
Awesome.
yeah, economic development. So
catch that for you. Don't let that guy anywhere near it.
No.
So, and I'll be in touch with you. We have to talk because then we can get a ball on this.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ness.
So Suzanne, you're our rep now you're going to be for our whole community, right? Or how does?
Not for all of it, but now it's two of us instead of three.
Okay.
State reps,
Oh,
so
Anna?
four of us.
So Anna from Elgin.
Yeah.
So it's instead of 3?
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. That's nice. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Okay. No Chris tonight? Oh, there he is.
Now, nope, just onto the consent agenda.
All right. Consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on those items unless the trustee so requests, in which the event of the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda.
I'd like the motion to approve consent agenda items A through K as presented.
And I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee O'Sullivan to approve the consent agenda A through K, and seconded by trustee Garcia. Roll call, please.
Trustee Malone,
Yes.
trustee O'Sullivan,
Yes.
trustee Sandoval,
Yes.
trustee Garcia,
Yes.
and President Skillman.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you. Next item, reports of Eric.
A few items to put on the agenda, a date to keep everyone in mind. August 3rd, which we have a board meeting that night, just prior, there will be a special planning and zoning committee meeting. Auto engineering has a PUD before the Planning and Zoning Commission, and it will be, if enacted on by Planning and Zoning, will be immediately enacted on by the village board that evening. So if you're going to be unable to make that meeting, if you could let us know, just we want to make sure we have a quorum, so we have everything lined up for that action item. As you can see from tonight's agenda, we are in the spirit of making sure everyone knows what's going on. We're going to be encouraging or requiring all special events, events in which third-party organizations or even the village are inviting the public to attend our facilities and events. Will be put through special events permits, and will be appearing on the agenda so that everyone is aware and helps fill people's calendar. Just as an FYI, most events are probably, because people are getting things done, it's probably a month out is the rough timeline. So even if it's being worked on in advance, but that's a rough timeline that we should see those things. Village staff has had a few good meetings with West Dundee. Ben and I and our counterparts at West Dundee have been meeting to discuss the TIF districts on the West Dundee side and Carpentersville side of the Spring Hill Mall. I don't think anyone believes that Spring Hill Mall is going to exist as it currently exists 20 years from now. Our current TIF, as it was drawn in 2016, is currently underwater, and what I mean by that, not financially, but the EAV at which the TIF was established in 2016 today is lower than it was at that point. So the district, that TIF boundary is not generating any TIF increment. The same problem is true for the West Dundee side. So next meeting, you'll probably see we have contacted our TIF consultants and both sides, and we're trying to do this in tandem to save money for both villages, but to also, because the mall lies in two jurisdictions and to streamline the potential for redevelopment, looking at a two-prong approach to this. One, both villages are looking to redraw their TIF boundaries, and that'll be a two-step process. One, it'll be eliminating the current TIF and then reestablishing a TIF to hopefully be more profitable and allow for future redevelopment. And the secondary part of that agreement is going to be looking at doing what's called an overlay district of the mall, in which we would be going into an agreement at some point in IGA with West Dundee to make sure that our zoning and business standards are the same. One of the complaints we've heard from the mall ownership is the idea of any redevelopment is going to be overly burdensome because we have to get Carpentersville approval, we have to get West Dundee approval, and this is designed, as a way to streamline this. And things we're envisioning are, anything that would happen in that district, it would be joint planning and zoning boards, streamlining the process, just making it much more efficient. Brookfield, who owns the mall property, is appreciative that we're even investigating this to make things easier. And hopefully this will spur some redevelopment once Huntley Square, which we've all been talking about, is kind of the cornerstone project to jumpstart redevelopment in that area. Hopefully this builds on that. Following up on that, Huntley Square, Benjamin and I had sent all three developers a list of follow-up questions. We're expecting the responses from each of them this Friday. It's really, the biggest component of that is a more detailed breakdown of their funding request. When we receive that, we're going to be sending it to the TIF consultants to make sure the requests meet the statutory parameters of TIF and that qualified expenses would be allowed under this. Also during that project, this time period, staff is going to be meeting with each of the groups again, and really talking and diving deeper into their financial asks, trying to get to a point of, what is really the best, what's their final or minimum to get the projects moving forward. And hopefully by the end of the month, we'll be able to present a follow-up on the three projects so we can start working with one or any of the groups to move something forward. As we said at the special meeting, I don't think, anyone was presenting a final project, and I know each of the groups are, tightening their numbers and looking at the projects to see where that's going to end up. And the final thing I just want to let everyone know, because it may become an issue and you may receive contact about this, as part of the criminal reform legislation that passed in January, as of July 1st, criminal trespass is no longer an arrestable offense. And there's areas in town or even businesses, if someone was coming in and causing issues, where in the past police could be called and remove the person who was causing a problem at the store, short of them creating more of additional threatening offense, but the criminal trespass is now only a ticketable offense. Other communities have started receiving complaints because someone will call and say, hey, this person's on my property or this person's in my store. The police are showing up and are unable to remove them. And just if you get those calls, it's not that the police aren't willing to respond. It's just some of the new legislation has restricted what can be done. So we are working through that. I know the chief has attended a couple webinars unpacking some of the new. There was a trailer bill that was passed a few weeks ago. So there's hundreds of pages of legislation being unpacked with this. But if you get that call, that's the one thing that I think a lot of communities are potentially worried about, having an immediate effect. I can say in years past, like the ownership of Foxview has regularly made calls for, people who aren't supposed to be on the property and have come in. In the past, we would, make the arrest for trespassing. At some point, we will receive residential complaints about the law, but it's the status of the law. So wanted to put that on your radar in case you're contacted.
So right now, they're going to get a ticket, chief, and say, have a nice day, and hang out with Jose as long as you want in the store. I mean, I've received plenty of calls on weekends and stuff from business owners saying that this guy is in here and causing a problem and with business.
Yeah, and we're worried that business owner is going to take things into their own hands, and now we're going to be investigating a battery complaint.
Right, it's going to flip-flop.
We hope that the legislature will take a look at that and maybe make some changes.
It's not good for business, for people. I mean,
It's not good for civil order, never mind business. This
Right.
is inviting, well, never mind.
yeah, it's,
President Skillman, if may I, does it
Yes.
affect also residential?
Anywhere, yeah.
So we all can go to Jeff Frost's house, swimming pool while he's not there, right?
that's right.
I don't see the wisdom of this at all.
That's not right.
It's yeah, it'll be interesting, be challenging for our police officers again. So, hands-off approach, I guess.
Reach out to your state legislature
Yeah.
to,
She's here.
It's tough.
We'll talk later to try and understand the wisdom of this legislation. I failed to see it.
Yeah, the different parts of it there's some strange stuff in it. Okay, anyways, I'm sorry.
No, that's all I have.
That's it?
Like I said, we haven't had an issue yet. I was expecting it almost to come like July 1st. I'm like, well, I want to hear the first, complaint. It hasn't come, but it will be forthcoming at some point.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Ed or Ben, nothing? You guys? No. Hopefully we'll get everything back by Friday for our Huntley Square project and see how that goes. Old business we have tonight. We have a resolution of an award to award the contract for 2021 155 South Washington site demolition and cleanup to Fowler Enterprises LLC of Elgin, Illinois, in the amount of $20,250. So, any discussion, anybody? Any questions? Okay, I need a motion then to approve.
I'll motion to approve.
I'll second.
A motion by trustee O'Sullivan, a second by trustee Sandoval. Roll call, please.
Trustee O'Sullivan.
Aye.
Trustee Sandoval.
Yes?
Trustee Garcia.
No.
Trustee Malone.
No.
And President Skillman.
Yes. Motion carries to award the contract. Correct?
It's, actually, it wouldn't be, we need the fourth vote. That's a 3-2 vote by my count, Clerk Mastera.
That's correct.
So we actually don't have
3-2?
sufficient votes for that to carry.
Okay. Okay, great. We'll revisit that then. Any new business? Nope. Trustee reports. Trustee Sandoval.
Yes, I am part of the Parks and Special Events Commission, and we are working on doing Fall Fest September 25th, and we're hoping it's going to be our biggest event thus far. They did one in 2019, which was very successful, and just trying to build off of that with music, lumberjack entertainment, food trucks, so keep that on your calendar, September 25th.
9:25. Excellent, thank you for that report. Trustee O'Sullivan.
We had an Audit and Finance Committee meeting on June 28th, where we went over the reports on the police and fire pension funds. The good news is we're better funded than a lot of similar pensions around the state. The bad news is the state has decided in their wisdom that it would be better to have these consolidated under state authority. And again, I question the wisdom of this legislation, but it's been passed and signed by the governor. So there are suits challenging this legislation, and bluntly, I wish them well. I hope they're successful in challenging this because the reasoning behind consolidating these funds fails to impress me personally. It's supposed to be to help out the smaller, less well-financed pension boards around the state. I just believe it's a wolf in sheep's clothing based on the state's history on managing money over the years. We'll see how that turns out. But the village, in terms of funding the local police and fire pensions, I think has done a good job and would probably like to aggressively fund our local pensions to make sure that we continue to do a good job funding those pensions and to do future boards and taxpayers a favor so as not to have that hanging over their heads any longer than necessary. That's my report.
Thank you. Trustee Malone.
I'd just like to thank fire and police for the hard work they did this weekend. I'm sure it was crazy for them, and we just want to let them know we appreciate it. Thank you.
Definitely. Trustee Garcia.
I just want to add to Trustee Malone. I read about the lack of a tanker. We probably need to look into that, a water tanker for the fire department, so these don't happen again where we run out of enough water. I want to thank the village of Carpentersville, everybody in this town, Chief Hoy, Chief Schilling, Director Gray, Village Manager Johnson, and President Skillman for the great support that we got last Saturday for the July 3rd car show, Happy Birthday America. We put together a little over $1,300 that were donated directly to the BFW. We didn't have to wait to count monies, nothing like that. Got all the money and gave it to the commander for the BFW in West Dundee. Also, there is Fix the 36. It's an online community donation line to donate funds to restore the 36 Buick. For the people that don't know, is the Carpentersville police car that was found in Colorado and brought back home. We're trying to put some money together to start restoring this vehicle. We had some donations from different people, some organizations in town, some residents that had come forward and brought from a sales brochure to a model car, license plates, vintage license plates for the vehicle. I think it's going to be really nice when done, and we'll have something to go to different events. The car was on display last Saturday at the Happy Birthday America car show here in Carpentersville. And on behalf of the group that put this together, I want to thank everybody here for their support. Village, Attorney Brad Stewart, thank you for donating the trophies. I had to have help on Saturday from President Skillman because I forgot the name of your firm. It's too long and too complicated. Not enough vowels in it, dude.
It's just Stewart.
Stewart. Got you, sir. Once again, thank you, everybody. Chiefs, thanks for the great work this weekend. Thank you. Thanks for keeping us safe.
Thank you, Trustee Garcia. Definitely the car show, we had a great turnout down there. I talked to a lot of the older guys that were there that do this like every weekend, and they just loved it. So, and they're going to bring some bigger and better shows actually to our village. So it was kind of fun, and we can use it with some of our other events possibly, you know. So kind of double up. We're getting a lot of people there. So definitely. Thank you again to Kane County Board for everything you guys did during COVID. Chris, thank you. Our state, of course, State of Illinois, State Rep Suzanne Ness, thank you. And especially the Rivera's, Dr. Maggie Rivera, for her, you know, I was on phone calls with her late at night, and we'd be going at it too sometimes, you know, because I'd be saying, you know, hey, I was there with, you know, Dr. Schilling too, or Chief Schilling, I'm sorry. And we would, you know, we were like, hey, let's get this organized and let's keep it going. And we did. We all worked together, and especially police and fire helping out, and Maggie and Jose, of course, and their group. And Eric, our staff too. So in Public Works, they all did a great job, and it was nice. It was nice to see. And I've met lots of people from around the state, from IDPH, from the city coming here, and it was awesome. They were just like, you guys have it going on here, and it was very exciting. And everything Maggie said was right. I mean, they looked at us. They looked to us, all of us here, you know. So it was a proud moment for our village. So, with that, I'd like to we have no closed session tonight. So I'd like to just take a quick break for our meeting tonight, and then I want to discuss a few things afterwards. But take 5. Thank you. We're going to take